Riding the emotional roller coaster, taking those first few breaths after the diagnosis felt like surfacing into a different world, one where the ground rules had changed entirely. The initial stunned silence from the shock eventually gave way, not to calm, but to a bewildering storm of feelings inside. It wasn't a neat progression. It felt like being caught in a crossfire of emotions, all hitting at once, unpredictable and overwhelming. Keeping my balance felt less like walking a path, and more like trying to stand on a wildly spinning amusement park ride I desperately wanted to get off. At some moments, anger surged up in me, hot and fierce. A raw indignation. Why me? How could this happen? It's not fair. I felt consumed by it sometimes, wanting to scream or break something. But looking back, I see that anger, as uncomfortable as it was, held a spark. It became fuel. It ignited a refusal deep inside me to just passively accept this. That fire pushed me to ask hard questions, to demand information, to find the determination to fight for myself. When I learned to channel it, that anger felt surprisingly powerful. Then, often without warning, a wave of profound sadness would pull me under. An ache so deep it felt physical, grieving the carefree, ordinary life that was suddenly gone, mourning the future plans that now felt fragile and uncertain. Tears would ambush me at unexpected times, and woven into the sadness were sharp stabs of fear and regret. What if this is the last time I see them laugh like this? I'd picture my loved ones' faces etched with sorrow, and that hurt almost more than my own fear. Did I say goodbye properly this morning? Did I waste too much time on stupid arguments? The weight of potential loss felt crushing. This sadness was heavy, yes, but allowing myself to feel it also connected me intensely to what truly mattered. It wasn't weakness. It felt like proof of how deeply I loved my life and my people. It clarified exactly what I was fighting for. Fear remained a constant, shape-shifting companion, often tangled with confusion. Sometimes it was that low hum of anxiety. Other times, sharp panic. The existential thought, is this it? Is this the end? Could surface with chilling force. Dark thoughts about not being there for future moments, mingled with regrets about past occasions missed or feelings left unexpressed. It felt like my mind was a battlefield of conflicting emotions. Hope wrestling with despair, determination fighting exhaustion, love intertwined with terror. It was all incredibly confusing, trying to make sense of these simultaneous, powerful feelings. Adding to the confusion during my time in the hospital were the side effects from some of the medications they tried initially. To help with the intense anxiety and sleepless nights filled with pain or worry, they prescribed sleeping pills and antidepressants. I hoped desperately they would bring some relief, some quiet. Instead, for me, they seemed to bring on the worst side effects, making me feel even foggier, perhaps, or strangely agitated, or just physically unwell. It felt like another layer of difficulty piled on top when I could least handle it. Thankfully, my doctor was observant, realized these specific medications weren't helping my particular situation, and together we decided to stop them. It was another sharp lesson in listening to my own body and communicating honestly, even when everything felt chaotic. And incredibly, even amidst all this swirling intensity, the anger, the sadness, the fear, the regrets, the dark thoughts, the medication issues, there were still those surprising moments of light. A flash of dark humor that cut through the tension, maybe shared with my spouse. The sheer relief when the unhelpful medications were stopped. A moment of quiet connection holding my spouse's hand. A simple kindness from a nurse. These weren't huge triumphs, but they felt like crucial lifelines, tiny anchors in the storm. They were proof that even in the hurricane's eye, parts of me remained untouched, still capable of laughter, gratitude, connection, peace. Riding this internal roller coaster was utterly exhausting, mentally and physically. But learning to navigate it, learning to simply acknowledge the tangle of feelings without being completely swept away, became the very process where strength started to form. Each time I breathed through a wave of fear, each time I let sadness flow without drowning, each time I recognized anger without letting it consume me, I felt resilience building, almost invisibly. I wasn't controlling the storm, but I was learning to be the steady anchor within it. This chaotic emotional ride, as hard as it was teaching me, shaping me, revealing a depth of courage and adaptability I never knew I possessed. And recognizing that, even faintly at first, felt like the first real glimmer of hope on the journey forward. That emotional roller coaster is a disorienting ride, one you never asked to be on. But even in the middle of the chaos, a quiet question starts to form. How do you find solid ground when the world is shaking? How do you find light in the middle of the storm? Join me this coming Monday as we explore that very question in our next chapter, Finding Strength and Staying Positive. If this story feels important, sharing it with someone who might need it would mean the world. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what comes next. And for the complete journey, You can always find the link to the full book in the description below.